Fnatic Academy. That's the last EU Challenger Series playoff match, and the winner goes to promo. Let's find out who they will be placing. Obviously, it'll be Giants. And as we jump into this game, no real surprises here. Pick some bands: Rumble, Lee Sin, Lucian, Rengar, Camille, Talon, and once again, Nautilus first pick.
I mean, the Lucian ban here is a little bit interesting. It's instead of Malzahar, a champion that is banned almost every game here in Europe. I want to see if Fnatic actually wants to play it. They have valued Zyra so highly, they first picked her last game. All right, Source wants his cannon, or Reckless wants his cannon. You never know with Fnatic. With the Lucian ban, it might be a situation where Reckless is saying, I need a split-pushing AD carry. Yes. Now, I never thought I would say those words as an analyst, but I just did.
Reckless has played Kennen twice this split as well, and with Malzahar available, Jesus still prioritizes the Zyra. So is this a worthwhile Lucian ban? Now that potentially Giants could put Nautilus top and take Malzahar for hustling?
Yeah, I think so. I think being able to get you know, a Malzahar pick, if they want to play. Like, the thing is, when certain champs gets banned all the time, some teams just don't want to pick it up when it's actually available because they don't feel like maybe it's a champion they're that strong with because they haven't gotten to practice it. Caitlyn pick worked pretty well last game. Laning phase-wise, also going to be okay here for Giants. I don't want to see that Nautilus support.
Okay, nor do I. I'd like to see Flax's top.
Give me Karma.
Let's turn our priorities to the mid lane a little bit. We've had Kayle, we've had a Nivea. Vlad has been traded. Do you think that changes this game? Is Vlad still kind of tier 1 mid laner?
Yeah, definitely, especially if you can get him in Caps' position where you can ban 2 mid laners. Giants valuing the jungler over getting a Karma pick for the bottom end. Still things like Lulu, Nami as well, if you want to go for like these mage supports down there. Now with the Graves being locked in, Fnatic has to decide, do we want to sacrifice top lane, jungle? Do we want to get the Vlad and then ban out 2 mid lane picks like Orianna? Because the Nivea, while it won the game, was not very effective for most of the game.
It was not indeed, and we have confirmation that it is ADC Kennen here for Reckless.
Yeah. Although not even that surprising, honestly.
You know, it could even go mid. Caps could play it, and you know, they pulled some shenanigans before.
This is Reckless just telling his team, guys, I need Kennen. I'm gonna play split push, and that's how we're gonna win the game. We're not gonna win as 5. We're not gonna win through massive late game fights. Even though they actually won a lot of late game fights in the last game, they still opted in for this crazy 1 versus 1, try and get the Nexus play in the end.
So if that's the case, and it is going to be split push Kennen, and you've got potential split push Shen as well, what does the jungler and mid laner need to be, or what style do they need to fill for Fnatic as we're moving into phase 2?
Well, again, yeah, if you want to play Shen one lane, Kennen another one, then you should get a wave clear machine in the mid lane for mid lane. A guy who can hold the mid while Kennen is pushing. Because whenever Fnatic has used his Kennen, it's been stuck in the side lanes. It is so rare Reckless even joins a fight. So they need something that can hold mid, which is now going to be Caps' job, if it is, you know, this pure split push cannon, which is why you pick it. So that's what we're looking for. A wave clear mid laner who can hold mid lane in check, like Syndra would work. Obviously the problem for Fnatic is they're very focused on early game. They actually removed this Syndra here, because Kennen, late game as an AD carry, is not very strong.
Do they go like old school pick? Corki, is that dead? Do they pick something new with all of the mid lane champions being banned away?
Victor is here.
Oh yeah.
As an option. If they want to go full crazy mode, the Kayle pick as a last pick again. Like, it was just like, there's almost too many chefs then in the kitchen, because Kayle wants to split push, Shen, Kennen, like, someone needs to hold the mid lane. Kayle big ban there. I actually think this is smart from Giants, just because you don't want to risk it. You lost in 25 minutes in the first game.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa. Okay, so what do you think, LeBlanc? Blind?
Gotta keep in mind, on this patch, a lot of the power from LeBlanc got taken away from damage and put into wave clear.
Fair.
So it is crazy and not the most standard wave clear pick, but it is actually one that can sit and hold mid unless you start sieging. That's always the thing for LeBlanc. It's so hard when she's sitting under the tower against things like Graves and Caitlyn. But if she's left alone in the lane in mid, she will wave clear really fast.
Now, you talk about sieging. Fnatic don't have a great sieging comp here. Very short range, but they can play side lanes.
It's literally just split push. This is pure split push, 1v1, 2v2. We do not care about team fights. Each individual member on Fnatic wants to try and carry.
Okay. Let's see if they're allowed to. Because if everyone wants to carry, you can drop the hot potato and then maybe nobody can carry. That's a potential. You get your Karma for hustling. Giants will have a little bit of an answer to some of this, you know, global with a semi-global in Rise. Some scaling on this side as well.
I guess we get Elise coming in here, even though it's a lot of magic damage from Fnatic. They might need a physical damage jungler, so that's where Kha'Zix pops in. Fits the skirmish build as well. Glad to see Fnatic, they're aligned. They all know what to play. You need to be able to fight 1v1. You need to be able to fight 1v1. If I had to pick a support for 1v1, Zyra might be one of them as well. So this is not your traditional pick and ban phase if you are looking at the right side with Fnatic. If you look at the left side, well, it's actually very standard in a lot of ways. Nautilus top, Graves jungle, Kate Karma bot lane. Very, very well-rounded, fantastic team fight. Rise can try and match split push in a side lane.
Do Giants have to break the split push, then siege themselves? Because they've got a comp that seems pretty strong at that.
Listen, Giants needs to get ready for a game they don't normally play. They need to get ready for a game where Fnatic will throw everything at them one by one by one. And they will come from top lane, mid lane, bot lane, jungle, outside of the rift. It doesn't matter. Fnatic will try and attack this from so many different angles. I can't even say it's a normal strategy in any way. Because this will be Reckless stuck in the side lane for most of it. And whenever he's played that, it's been difficult to play against. Think back to last game.
Yep.
It's going to be the same kind of game from Fnatic.
Let's find out. Let's see. Fnatic now in a fight for their lives. Lozark and temporary coach Finley for Fnatic walk off stage. Guys, jump onto Twitter and let us know who will be victorious here. Hashtag GIA win or hashtag FNC win. There's a number of options. What could happen here if Fnatic win or lose the series that has post-season implications. We'll break them down once we get into the game and we have a little bit more time to talk. Especially if Fnatic are going to be playing these side lanes. We may have a lot of time to talk as Fnatic plays the map against Giants. It's been a series that has been defined by tower kills, side lane pressure. And the fans here in Berlin heavily in favor of Fnatic. Deficio for the last time tonight. Fnatic take on Giants.
It's just absolutely insane how much risk Fnatic is taking here, but they clearly think this is their best shot at winning. Because their composition, if it falls behind, is so useless. They will lose to Rise in the side lane. They're going to get pushed by Nautilus in the Shen matchup. They can't defend the siege versus Caitlyn, Graves, these kind of picks. So Fnatic putting so much focus on getting ahead early and then play pure split push.
Flash taunt, flash taunt, flash taunt. So is going to go for it. Doesn't even need the flash. Memento, first blood goes to Broxah.
Well, I guess that's a fine start if you want to get an early advantage. 500 gold in the lead, and the kill went over to the Kha'Zix.
Yeah, this early in the game. Finally reduced, but still very good value. And that's super important. Look at this. Broxah instantly goes back to pick up a talisman.
Only Jess's used flash. Always important to look at flashes level 1 because it's actually sometimes worth it to give up a kill but then get like 4 summoner spells. In this case, it was just Jess's using a flash. Memento can look to go bottom lane early and punish him if Fnatic is pushing, but this Karma Caitlyn lane from Giants will be very strong early. So Giants are not really at threat or at risk of losing a lane here. Rise will hold mid for sure. Karma Kate will be fine, but Nautilus will even push the Shen, meaning Memento can look to invade. Sadly for him, he died and slowed him down a tiny bit.
That did indeed.
Not really too much.
Jesus and Reckless should have a tough time in the earlier levels, yeah? Caitlyn into Cannon. Hikyu's gonna have a good time. Outranges Cannon on basically everything.
At any point in the game where Giants is ahead and able to actually play as a team, they will be so much better than Fnatic. Not just compositions, but also I feel like if you look at actually what Giants are bringing to the table as a team that's been together all split long, not had that much success, but at least synergy should be there. Good invade. This is what we talk about. You know, you have push on top side. That means Nautilus can join.
And that push is exacerbated by the fact so is at a start taunt as well. I mean, not that any
of course
other spells would have had a great impact into Flaxish in the top lane. But yeah, Memento at least gets a red buff steal. Broxah not going to reply. So 3 buff start here for Memento.
Obviously, Raptor Cam is the one for experience that Broxah is getting. And he has the kill. from the start, so he's fine. Good trade here from Soas against Flaxius. I like Rise a lot. I'm actually really happy whenever we see him as a pick against things like LeBlanc. Saw him earlier today in LCK against Talon. Faker blind pick Talon, Frowners pick Rise. Had him under control all game long. Because it's still such a good, like, in many ways, like, safe. It lost some damage. It's not as annoying to deal with as before. But it's so good when it comes to instant CC. Things like LeBlanc has a small delay on her distortion jumping back. Voice giving up, Trevor. I'm getting too old for this.
It's been a long day.
I'm getting too old for this, man.
We've had a few interesting series to cover. And on stage today, and now Fnatic, their backs are against the wall. So, Deficio, I mentioned that there's a few options here. Do you think we've got enough time to run through a few of them?
Yeah, no games.
So listen, if Fnatic 2-1 Giants, they win this game, they win the series, they need to win at least a game or two against G2 or Misfits, even if they lose the series, on the assumption that Roccat lose to G2. Because the game difference could be the deciding factor. Now, of course, for Fnatic, they can still control their destiny. Even if they lose here, they can win out against G2 and Misfits, and that can get them into playoffs. But a Fnatic squad that's struggling against Giants is going to need a underperforming Misfits and potentially underperforming G2, and that is a lot to ask. It's a risky situation to be in.
That is definitely true. Fnatic would have to beat Misfits to have a chance if they lose the series, which seemed impossible a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And I'm not basing this on Fnatic getting much stronger, but more like the Misfits have struggled a little bit. However, because Fnatic has been in such a massive slump for weeks, we can't say that they're going to be favorites or even close to favorites in that potential game. This is really the one game for Fnatic to win to save this season.
Thing is, because they lost the game to Giants, it's still not as clean cut as that. They can still win this series.
Of course, but this is step one. This is step one.
Fnatic get 2-0'd in both of their series next week, there's a possibility Roccat can still overtake them. It comes down to game difference. It comes down to all three series
so for
have
now,
to get played.
Focus on this game.
Yes.
If you're a Fnatic fan, you need to win this series, as Trevor highlighted. So far now, you have good trades from Source on top side, able to push it in. Bot lane is falling behind. That's what we mentioned. Can be difficult against Karma Caitlyn. Really, such an annoying lane to deal with. So much poke. Such a safe lane as well. And Giants is pushing, and they want to make sure the Giants do not fall further behind, because then Fnatic can start running around all over the map, forcing 1v1s.
Well, just from that first blood and some CS alone, Fnatic have accrued around 1,000 gold lead, which is good for them. Most of it is centralized in Broxah. And of course, Soaz having a good time farming the top lane, but it's Giants. They pull the trigger first on the lane swap.
So they're respecting the fact that Source will hit level 6 soon on this Shen. And they don't want to stay in the bottom side and risk a big play from Fnatic. It is a very early swap here, but the good thing for them is that Reckless has just recalled now. That's what happens when you have to push in bottom lane, which Giants did. You get to recall first, which also means you get to run to whichever lane you want first. That's what is showing up top here. In a perfect world, this wave had been pushed towards Source Tower already. They could run and hit the tower. Now they have to just accept that they have to push in a wave, and Reckless can actually move up here and stop them. So you can see Reckless Jesses on the way top lane.
Good damage from Capsum tonight. Knight, unfortunately, caught a minion with one of those overloads. I like the fact that Giants were the first ones to pull the trigger on this lane swap. Both previous games, it felt like Fnatic were making that play earlier.
This ward is disabled. They think Source is recalled. But didn't manage to find anything. There was another ward being placed here. So, while Giants get a swap, because again the wave top lane was not pushed towards the tower, they're not getting to the tower first. Yeah. That has allowed Fnatic to now match it and then catch the wave. But it's a big wave bot lane Source will not get because he used teleport, so small win here for Giants.
More advantages to maybe make up for the gold deficit in farm, and at the moment we'll see how the game continues to play out. Deficio, as you've alluded to, this split push composition from Fnatic, they can't afford to make mistakes and fall behind, because if they ever have to defend a siege against Caitlyn, Nautilus, Karma, the tools that they have to overcome are just terrifying, despite the changes to LeBlanc in this patch.
Yeah, it will take Kennen half a year to kill the Nautilus in a potential fight, because then you're not only trying to kill him, you're also trying to go through Redemption, Locket Shield, Karma Shields. Like, It's never going to happen late game. It's never going to happen for Fnatic unless we get to full 6 items and we start getting into this territory where it's about individual mistakes.
Yes.
But before we get to that point, if it is dead even and Giants are not getting split pushed, then it's in favor of Giants.
Got a question for you, Divisha. Oh, Reckless takes a big chunk there. On that
My answer is yes.
The question for you is, do you feel we've seen a small amount of individual mistakes this series? Because it feels like it's been map play that has dominated it. You can answer that in a moment because Reckless is going very, very aggressive. Stand United coming down from Soaz. Hustlin still got a flash available, and that Stand United was interrupted.
Yeah, Soaz was actually standing very close to the Nautilus, but in the brush to challenge this one, and Flash just hooked him, stopped him. This was why Giants were opting into that lane swap earlier, because they knew like a cannon level 6 with a Shen ulti could be dangerous. But because Flash stops the TP from Soaz, then Fnatic has to accept they only got 3 summoners. Still, a small victory right there for Fnatic. They force Karma back to base, and that's giving Reckless a bit of time to catch up in CS. No ulti from Soaz, will have TP soon. This gives Flash the TP advantage for at least a minute. Problem for Giants, they're not really able to set up anything anywhere. And they just have to accept Soaz will get his teleport soon. Look
at this, and this is kind of what I was mentioning before the fight. Fnatic initiate a dive, they don't get the kill, but a lot of damage on that top outer turret.
They have to back away. They have to back away top because Broxah just showed that he was on bottom side. So if they stayed on the tower, then they would get ganked and TP'd on. So you can see here, look at the Graves. He's in the Baron pit. He's going to dash over, realizes there's a control ward though because he gets disabled. And in the end, Fnatic step away from turret just long enough that the Memento has to realize he's spotted because they see the ward come down. And then Fnatic knows. So this is good for Fnatic. Infernal Drake, damage on top tower. All starts with that play from Reckless and Soaz.
Yeah, it's just that's how you start the snowball, right? We're approaching 10 minutes in. What was a losing lane for Reckless? Technically still is with that LCS deficit, but if you take into account the Dragon, the damage on tower,
this is the TP advantage we mentioned just before.
This is so scary. Knight's going to arrive with the Realm Warp. Stranglethorns used just to buy time, but not underneath the tower. Jesus had no support. Reckless is trying to get some damage onto Hikyu. He's got no flash to escape. Giants get themselves 2 kills. Now Caps is going to be the target. Memento trades a couple of autos, and Giants are forced to back away.
And we're talking seconds, Trevor, before Soaz had a TP on his own. But Giants knew that TP advantage. They had the roam from Knight with the ulti. They're like, great, now we can set up a play. As a team, as a group, we can make this. They get top tower now. They got 2 kills. Perfect for Giants.
Yeah, really well played. And the first tower of the game. Plus that bonus gold. So Fnatic.
And this is not good if you have this comp that cannot fall behind. This was simply a macro play. You talked about the map plays earlier. I would say we have a lot of map plays in this series. I wouldn't say we've had a lot of, you know, rotations or beautiful setups, but
yes,
it's been a lot of
map plays good.
A lot of crazy split pushing. So this is just a great setup. Source's TP is ready now, but at this point he can't use it, and it's too late. Also with Broxah being back in base, no response possible for Fnatic. Giants will get the play and will get the tower. Is there a response though? Because this is the thing always about League of Legends. You make a play, then you go back, the enemy team can make a play. You accept that all the time, but if you are ahead on the play, then whenever they're gonna make that counter move, you might be able to just trade. So not only did you get a tower, they will get top tower, but look at bot lane. Giants already down bottom lane saying, fine, we trade now, and we still have a 1 tower advantage.
Giants still with the advantage thanks to the teleports and the dive in the top lane. Flaxer should zone Soaz very far away from his lane. Doesn't look like there's any potential here for a fight as long as Broxah doesn't overstay. Smoke screen comes down from Memento, and Soaz waiting in the wings, looking at Knight as well. He's coming down to the bottom lane, so Fnatic, they shouldn't stick around because they could get jumped on. Is there enough time for Reckless Jesus to take that bottom tower?
No, not enough minions, and Nautilus is on the way back. Giants have this under control for now, but they will. You can see this tower take a lot of damage, and you have to respect how fast Kennen can actually take them down with the attacks we built. Bladed Rune King always coming in. You see Hurricane if you want to be a fast pusher.
Yeah.
So things like Wit's End to be super strong in the 1-1 against things like Nautilus and Wise.
Let's compare Reckless and Hikyu a little bit. Reckless had a great Lucian game in the previous match, played that split push and a lot of damage because he was really carrying a lot. You can see the damage percentage because he soloed Flaxish a few times.
Yeah, he did.
That's going to help out. Hikyu, on the other hand, Pretty good, Caitlyn. You know, he did his job, aggressively flashing forward at times in the late game.
Just impossible to play Caitlyn in that situation when everyone is playing all the different lanes. A little trap here from Fnatic. They've been liking these.
Okay, let's see. It didn't work last time, and the dredge line gets Flaxage to safety for now. That's a stun from the passive of Kennen. Flaxage gets knocked up into the air, and a 3-on-1. Flaxage will go down. It's Jesus that claims the kill. They've stuck around long enough for Giants to chase up. Realm Warp might close the distance. Knights and Hiku gonna look to chase forward, but Brox is coming up from the river. Jesus is rooted in place, and the Rune Prison sends him back. It's 1-for-1.
But now it was Fnatic who made the play, so now they have a bit more map pressure. You can see mid lane, Cap's able to push in. This is the situation Giants win before. They got first tower, they recalled, but then Fnatic made a play, they could just trade. Now Fnatic are doing the same. They trade 1-for-1 in kills, but they just got about 40% damage on this mid tower. It's a little bit low already from before, so it's the same situation just on the other side. You trade, but we're moving first, so we get a little bit extra on the way out. This sneaky setup, and this is what I said in Champ Select. This is what Giants needs to mentally get ready for. Will happen all game long. Because Shen plus Kennen is gonna just focus on split pushing and catching people in side lanes. So if you as a team can't handle that in terms of communication, then you're gonna end up getting caught a lot.
Now, admittedly, Reckless did not have the Blade of the Rune King completed when they started that fight, but Flaxage survived a very, very long time. So the longer this game goes, surely the more difficult it becomes to try and make that play. Will it allow more time for Giants to respond, or it's tough?
It's tough to say.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nautilus will get more tanky. I do think Flaxage might have misclicked his boots.
I looked at those Sorcerer shoes, I wasn't sure.
There really is no reason to go Magic Pen on Nautilus. It's not going to help you that much in a Shin 1v1 if that's what you're looking for. And Ninja Tabby would obviously be a strong pickup against Reckless, or some MR on your boots to also work against.
Can't afford to make those mistakes in a game 3.
Maybe it's on purpose, and it's just something I haven't seen before, but I think other boots would have been a better choice.
Like the Rage Blade Callista from Hunt Summer that we were talking about last week.
Which actually wasn't a mistake.
Yes, he opted into it, but
makes sense.
We weren't sure at the time. Hunt Summer spoke about how he prefers that build, despite it taking longer ramp-up time.
More range stacks on one target when you have the Rage Blade fully stacked out. So, Fnatic has gotten 2 turrets. That means the map gets to open up. Sorry, 1 turret, so they got the top one. And this is where, if you're Fnatic, this is the perfect time to get all the outer turrets. The longer the lanes are, the deeper you can push them. The harder it is for Giants to respond. That's important to highlight.
Also important that Fnatic get 2 uncontested dragons here. Some investment in the mid to late game. However, option to play around.
I don't think Giants care too much.
Okay.
Simply because Giants' late game will be superior, even against 2 dragons and 1 Infernal. So them surrendering dragons to set up like this defense basically on the map and like just farm. It's not terrible. Perfect world, you don't lose to dragons, but if you're Giants right now, you're not panicking.
If you're a Fnatic fan, and Fnatic are even at this stage, for the most part, when do you start to panic? Because Fnatic's team comp doesn't really want to be even, right? Because they don't want to be in 5v5 and don't want to go into the late game on an even keel. They want control of the map. They want vision. They want more towers.
There's still plenty of time. There's still plenty of time. Like, we're just getting first items completed. We're building towards second items. We're still early on, so like getting down these outer turrets now is still okay. Still plenty of time to be a split pusher. Split pushing comms tends to be really good for good like 25-30 minutes.
Okay.
And then they often end in that situation where it can be hard to win the game through split push, and you have to then set up for Baron and use the Baron to win. There are obviously exceptions. Like, we have seen picks like Fiora just like win the game in a side lane. That's not what I'm saying. But it gets harder and harder because the further you push in, the easier it is for the enemy team to then move between the lanes and defend and push it back out. And then at some point, you might find yourself in a situation where you have to break through like a 5-man group defending. And that's where your comp falls apart. So it's not a done deal just because you were winning the split push in 30 minutes. But Fnatic are trying to win.
A lot more steps to make that work out.
This is good though, I like this.
Playing very aggressively here. Going to force down the tower. Brox is going to be able to at least leap to safety, and Caps is able to secure the mid tower with the help of Reckless. Also, by the way, Caps was able to defend the wave clear when Giants were sieging a few minutes ago.
Yeah, because right now, Kennen took the bot lane tower, and Ryze had to go down and push the wave back, slow push it back. That meant he was missing from mid, and Fnatic could group mid here, so they're ahead on the play. They're using it.
All right, good damage there onto Momenta. Soaz coming in from the sideline. The Shadow Dash taunt catches a few. Jez is looking for the root, and the Strangle Thorns splits up the Giants members. Now Knight at risk of being rooted. He instantly cleanses and walks away. Giants survive at the cost of several summoners.
So good for Fnatic here. They defend the mid tower. They got the last outer turret. We just talked about it. It's still fine on time if you're Fnatic here. Just a good setup from pushing bot side. See the Ryze, go mid, take the mid tower. Clean play here from the Fnatic guys. They're looking pretty good so far.
Cool, calm, and collected. Caps look. Whoa!
Bang.
So that happened.
Remember, this champion used to have even more damage?
Yeah, you told me that her single target was nerfed, Deficio.
It was. But there wasn't any distortion damage here.
I mean, was that 100 to 0? I feel like it was.
Pretty sure, yeah. No heal from HQ, no MR from HQ either.
Deficio, 40 minutes, no, an hour and 40 minutes ago, we said this could be, well, this was the most serious match of Caps' career, and look at this play. He insta-gibs Hiku, sets up a kill onto Knight, and now Fnatic with a gigantic gold lead looking into the tower.
And I told you, Trevor, Giants need to be prepared for these engages and these one-off jumps left and right. Whatever you have learned in macro school, throw it away right now. Because this is the kind of game where you just got to be ready for everything. And this is Caps getting a 1v2 kill on HQ, and then he flashes in, sets up another kill on Knight, and Giants, they were not ready.
Deficio, prepare, no, be ready for the unexpected. That was the old saying. It looked like Caps' ulti ate the ace in the hole. Not that it would have made a big difference. HQ, don't pick another fight.
He learned.
Yeah. Able to back away. Caps still fancying a shot here as Hustler and HQ putting pressure on the tower.
So, Giants really want this mid lane tower. They will get it this time around. Caps, as we said, on LeBlanc can't really defend when everyone is sieging. Reckless is down in his bottom lane.
Can Fnatic re-engage once again?
This is so fun. This is what Giants Comp wants to do, and what Fnatic's Comp doesn't want.
Well, Fnatic in a little bit of trouble. How do they stop the pressure? Soaz, no TP, no stand united. He's now making his way middle. Reckless is recalling as well.
And if you're Giants now, push this wave in mid once again and then reset. Just go back, catch your waves. Because then Fnatic can't push any objective. Let's see, this is a play from before.
1200 HP.
So, Q, E, passive procs with another... Yeah, that's just beautiful. That's a good setup.
Oh, so well executed.
And then he's doing it again. Knight, too far out. He's not ready for it.
Thing is, we've not seen enough of this Caps, this split long. Reckless and Soaz will take down Knight here.
Fnatic
ready.
Are punishing Giants. Giants were supposed to reset here, push his wave back out, and then not stay in the side lane, because that's where Fnatic will find you and kill you.
Oh, not again, not again. Flash over the wall. Hiku survives this time around as Roxa's looking to finish him off. Fnatic, they have just unlocked their team composition.
I felt bad for Knight there though, because he's actually pushed out the lane. It was going to slow push for him, and then he just wanted to walk to his team. But instead of walking through the lane, he walked into the jungle. There's no vision, and 3 guys from Fnatic showed up. Expect the unexpected.
Here we go. That's going to be the story of this game. So Giants find themselves in a 5,000 gold hole. It didn't matter in the previous game because Fnatic couldn't close the final hurdle.
Also at Caps right now, 357 AP at 21 minutes. He's still going to destroy you. Oh! Flashes, my friend.
He sold his Sork shoes and picked up Merc trades. Maybe after seeing he could get it popped, I don't know.
I think he realized it was a misclick.
But that's a frustration, isn't it? It's several hundred gold that you waste on selling and repurchasing the appropriate boots. In a game where there's no, roof area. Now, that's a small mistake, but a number of small mistakes cost this lead.
But you can see how with Fnatic's comp, we said they needed someone to hold mid. It is LeBlanc. With the extra wave clear, with the pressure she's bringing, because she can jump you, they are playing with Ken in one lane, Shen the other, Caps holds mid, and then now, if you go to stop the cannon, be ready for Shen ulti, or be ready for Fnatic to take something on the other side of the map. They are pushing all 3 lanes, and Giants can't respond.
And let's give some credit to Fnatic and their support staff backstage. This is a series that has been defined by playing the map in these side lanes. They just went in all the way in game 2. You know what? We've beaten Giants twice by playing this style, and they're going to try it again.
Reckless is in here. Knight, no flash for a few more seconds.
Come on, Ninja on Ninja combat. Bring in the Stand United. You've done it before. There's the Stand United. Knight gets stunned up, uses the cleanse, insta-stun. And now Soaz connects with a taunt. Don't finish that TP, Flaxish. He doesn't. He gets away, and there's the Fnatic support staff.
It's working.
Feeling pretty confident and happy. Memento, uno momento, por favor. You have a number of Fnatic members looking to run you down. Out of space, out of time. 23 minutes. Fnatic say, Baron, yep, we'll have some of that.
Hiding in that brush is something they've done all series long. Knight has been caught 3 times now, twice in that top lane, when he's like, in a normal situation, I need to push out this wave. But right now, you need to respect the fact you don't know where anyone is.
No, not at all.
Reckless was hiding there again, finding Knight. It looks so simple. He just stays and he waits for someone to show up and kill the wave. You gotta ask yourself, did Knight need to go in and kill the wave? Or could he have waited until he actually saw someone on the map and maybe moved from his base up? It's very easy to say when we're standing here and we can see both sides.
And we have full vision, right?
Yeah. We probably should just do some vision toggles in this one. Like, show how little Giants can see on the map in most situations.
Okay.
And then how difficult it is to deal with Shen ulti, roaming LeBlanc, Kennen sitting in a side and who can 1v1.
Well, this time round, Giants are fortunate enough to have fairly full information. This Fnatic are running straight at them. Flaxish, though, you're caught without the rest of your team. Look at all of this damage. He's dropped to a few hundred hit points. He's going to flash over the wall.
Buff.
Red buff was also going to get enlisted. Not enough to kill thanks to the summoner heal. Memento's able to smite that one down.
And now you're dealing with Baron buff. Reckless bot lane again. And if you are Giants, you have one control ward really far back near the enemy blue buff. That's not going to help you. They can see the guys in the lane, so that's fine for now, but they can't see anything in the jungle. They don't know.
You can see them taking down more structures. Tower number 6 falls. Fnatic, well, okay, I didn't even see that one, actually. As now the inhibitor turrets are under pressure. Oh, that was a pretty harsh zoom in, guys.
Just remember, the Q damage from LeBlanc is still absolutely insane. But he's probing that with the ulti to get 2 quick hits.
Well, Caps has arrived. The LeBlanc lock-in. It was
the
first
split push, baby.
In phase 2. It's 25 minutes into the game, Deficio. Fnatic have an 11,000 gold lead. Baron buff in a 5-on-4, and now they're winning the team fights. Flaxish has gone down, and Memento's running for his life. The crowd erupts in Fnatic chants as the last Nexus turret goes down. A taunt onto Knight. The only member alive for a few seconds longer is Hikyu. He's being dove underneath the fountain. Caps decides not to chase. The ace, the base, Fnatic are one step closer to the playoffs.
Smiles from Reckless. Locked in Kennen. First rotation was instant locked. It was like, you know what, we're playing split push, guys. We are not doing anything else. We continue the trend from game 1, game 2, and game 3. We talked so much about it, how annoying, how difficult it is to deal with a comp where 4 or 5 guys are just roaming around looking for 1v1s, 2v2s, Shen Kennen. Whenever Knight was like, I need a wave up here, no you don't, you're dead. And Giants simply couldn't respond.
Fnatic looked to be the better team across the entire series, right? They couldn't close in game 2. They had some interesting decision-making around lane prioritization, which I think we can talk about. But what matters here is that Giants won that game. Because Deficio, it is now not as simple as just hope Roccat lose for Fnatic. Fnatic still have to take games off of Misfits and G2 next week in the 2 series. Game series will matter. It depends on what Roccat do in their score. If Roccat goes 0-2 or 1-2, it impacts the math. So Fnatic will be watching Rockat's games closely. Roccat will be hoping G2 and Misfits also take down Fnatic.
For now, Fnatic managed to secure a 2-1 victory. Would have loved to get a 2-0.
Yes.
That didn't happen. But you got your win, which means you are still fighting for playoffs, which is the most important thing for these guys right now. And you gotta hope that maybe you can beat Misfits. Maybe you take a game off G2.
Well, they have to. One of the scenarios, if Fnatic goes 0-2, 0-2, and Roccat go 1-2, Roccat take the spot. It's that close. It is that close.
But that's good for us as a broadcast.
Yes.
It's terrible for Fnatic and Rocket, basically, but it's really good for us as a broadcast.
Very, very exciting week 10. Of course, we'll have 4 days of games next week. There'll be 2 best-of-3s on Sunday. I actually think the very last series of the split is Fnatic Misfits. I'm going to do a double check on that one really quickly.
It's the second last.
Second last, there we go.
It is on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That's a special day we have where we play 2 BO5s to end the whole thing.
3s, of course, and yeah, like I mean,
BO3s, yeah,
very exciting.
We didn't just make it BO5.
Very exciting stuff. Unfortunately, though, it is it's a half sad story, isn't it? Fnatic, this close to not making playoffs.
But you can turn every sad story into a good story, Trevor.
Yeah, if you win.
If you win, and then you win the whole playoff, you win the split, and you're like, bam, peaked at the right time.
Yeah, well, that's going to be one hell of a peak.
That would be very impressive.
That might be a bigger peak than climbing Mount Kilimanjaro or Everest. Everest is actually easy. Let's go Everest.
Okay.
Don't know why I went Kilimanjaro first.
Just whatever mountain was in your head.
I just went to like mountain I knew in South Africa.
No, I saw Table Mountain, South Africa.
That's easy to climb up and down.
Yeah.
I did that in December last week, actually. Last week? Oh, jeez.
It's getting old.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it. But yes, Fnatic need to peak. They need to play well next week. They play G2 and Misfits. Roccat, they only play G2. They have one opponent to prepare for. And how much easier that can be. Unfortunately, Group B, slightly less exciting with Vitality not picking that win of H2K.
Of course.
However, the race for second in that group is still very spicy as Splice and H2K will be doing battle.
Yeah, they will play each other. I think H2K also plays Origin.
They do indeed.
Which will give them a win. We can.
Oh, you cannot say that anymore.
Oh, we can. In this situation, we can. In this situation, we can. I can agree on the other 9, but in this one, we can. Just saying it. HK should take that one. Maybe this is where Xpeke just comes to life, right? And actually turns the team around. Of course. Or they start Illusionist and he's the surprise hit. That's what Origin needs. All Origin needs right now is to win the promotion tournament. Like, that's what they care about. Yeah, it is what they care about indeed. Just double checking if the interview is ready, and if it is, we're going to head over to Pyra, who's sitting on stage with Caps.
We are indeed ready.